Hey, everybody! It's Ian Batra here with Friday Facts. Going to keep it informal again because it's just me. As you can tell, I'm just in my office. Been doing a little rearranging, so we're kind of getting this place a little bit put together. And if Sarah McMurray is watching that's our sales board. We asked about the other board in the back, so that's what's going on with the Batra team. But as Friday Facts, huge week in the news. We're coming around the end of the year, and it's we're hitting the last couple weeks, so the markets here is pretty much coming to a standstill. There's not much on the market, not much point in sitting here and going through statistics with you. But of course, huge news for us this week: tax bill passed. So now with the tax bill in place, it's going to be some shifting in the market, and I've been watching different videos and different opinions from different people that I respect, giving their opinion, and a lot of people, especially in markets like ours, don't really think that the tax bill is going to have a huge effect upon the markets. One thing that is kind of coming out now, though, as we're discussing, we're starting to discuss, the aftermath of the tax bill. Well, something really interesting happened to us, and I had a client of mine who was actively looking to buy a house that has now put their search on hold, and their concern was not the contents of the tax bill itself. The reason that they're going to put on hold their purchasing of a home is because how easily the tax bill passed is now creating some uncertainty and some doubt around what's going to happen with immigration. Now, of course, us here in the Silicon Valley, immigration is a huge thing for us because so many of our our talent that runs the Silicon Valley, our software engineers, our computer programmers, so much of the talent that's running the Silicon Valley here is on an H-1B visa or another form of visa. So, and I think one of the huge concerns that's coming out now is that, with the current administration and presidency, they're coming after the H-1B visa. They're not directly attacking. They're more looking at attacking the spousal visas. There's a type of visa that allows the spouse of an H-1B visa holder to work, and that's the one that is really is coming under fire. And then, of course, they have some other things they want to do with the H-1B, like limiting renewals of H-1B visas. Now, as someone else, another associate was saying, they're like, how are we going to run the Silicon Valley without H-1B visas? That pretty much runs, and then, sometimes the counter argument that people say is, well, then, U.S. citizens are going to get the jobs. Challenges in the technology arena, we have a shortage of talent as it is. Part of the reason that we need these H-1B visas is because we already have a shortage of talent, and with that shortage of talent, we are having to use H-1B visas. Now, of course, remember too, they just changed the whole tax code too, and there's some certain potential ramifications down the line. But remember, when you bring someone in on an H-1B visa and they make a Silicon Valley level of salary. Now, remember, we have some of the highest salaries in the country are right here in the Silicon Valley. And if you have somebody making a high salary, well, the taxes that they're paying, even though they're not a U.S. citizen, they're on a visa, they're paying taxes into the U.S. government. And that is what fuels our government. That's what helps run our country. So having those high earners, those talented people on H-1B visas. Now, here's the other challenge. If we lose H-1B visa holders, if we get rid of the spousal visas or so, then of course, you have two income households that are going to now become one income households. So we run into these challenges. With that could potentially be a slowdown of the market. We've been talking about what is eventually going to slow down this market that's been a extremely strong bull market for such a long time. Well, obviously, if an immigration bill gets pushed through that comes after the H-1B visas and the spouse, the spouse visas, I'm completely blanking on the name right now of what the type of visa is called. But if we start limiting these visas here in the Silicon Valley, especially, but with secondary markets, I see that my friend Adrian is watching. He's up in Seattle area, and Adrian, you probably know that Seattle, of course, it's a secondary tech market, and to them it's actually a primary tech market. We look at the Silicon Valley as being the primary tech market, but Seattle, Austin, Texas, parts of LA, they have an area in LA they call the Silicon Beach, which is like that Manhattan Beach area, and they've got a lot of tech jobs there as well. So, obviously, all the other markets where tech has been expanding out to, and a lot of these companies have been moving to, they're all going to be affected by this H-1B visa, or by anything that happens with the visa. So again, the concern that I'm hearing from my clients is not that the tax bill passed, because there's certain things on the tax bill. Not being able to write off your property taxes is kind of a big one. But then again, that's going to affect all homeowners, not just people who are trying to buy or sell houses right now. Of course, now the mortgage interest deduction, they're limiting. It used to be $1 million, up to $1 million loan. You could write off the interest. Now they were talking about 500, but they settled on 750. So those issues are going to be effects. But nobody I really talked to was overly concerned about that 250,000 in loan that they couldn't write off. What they were really, and for most of the country, that doesn't affect them at all. Here in the Silicon Valley, our average loan is over $1 million. We do a lot of jumbo loans here, so that is going to affect our clients, but it's ultimately not going to affect them too much. But the property taxes is going to affect every single homeowner. So those are big ones, and of course, it's probably potentially going to affect people who are also rental, owners, which could be interest that could add some inventory liquidity to the market if some of these tax bills come down to people who own rentals are now thinking they may want to do something with their rentals as as these tax regulations. Again, we'll have to let this all shake down. I'm not a tax expert. So obviously, my advice to people is talk to your CPA, talk to somebody out there who can look at your specific situation. I'm not. It's not even within my scope to dispense tax advice, but I'm more talking about generalized effects upon the market. But my biggest recommendation, if you own rental properties, if you own homes, if you and basically anybody, if you don't own a home, it's probably a good time now that this tax bill is going through that you should reach out to your CPA and look at your situation. I know that I'm already planning that as soon as I can get a call with my CPA, I've got some really important questions that I need to ask about our situation, because we want to know, okay, now I got to, there's the generalized bill that we're looking at that we can tell us, okay, these are the things that it's going to affect. But now I have to take my situation where I am with my tax brackets, with our income, with how our entire business, how we run a business, we're self-employed. So with my business, how my entire corporation and structure shakes down. So now I need to have, and also, whenever the tax code changes, now we have to look at our strategies. We may have to restructure. We have to change the way we do certain things or file certain things, strategy tax-wise. It's not going to affect the way we help our clients, but it's definitely may on the back end, we may have to change some of our processes and procedures and certain things. So given that, my advice to all of you is go out, talk to your CPA, see how this situation affects you. But more importantly, we're going to be watching this real closely with the market. And I said, the thing that shocked me the most was not that my clients were so concerned about the tax bill itself. It's more the concern over now. Okay, now the taxes have been hit, and the changes have happened. So taxes are done. We know that there's some targets coming down the pipeline for immigration, and we know that immigration, that H-1B visas and all types of visas are so important to our market here in the Silicon Valley. But again, they're important to every major market. New York, Seattle, Austin, Texas, Dallas, Texas are all going to be affected by these H-1B visas, which of course will come back to your market, to come back and affect the overall real estate market, because that is where people are getting their income to buy. So thank you guys so much for everybody who tuned in today. We'll have more to come. We will be on Friday Facts next week. So again, I'm not sure the format. It may just be me again, but heading into 2018, we'll talk about what's going to be, what we foresee coming down the line. And again, the big news this week was the tax bill. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. I look forward to talking to you all again soon.